Hello everyone, it's the Orange Panel here, and welcome to a new series on my channel called Biome Building, where I'm going to be visiting almost every single Minecraft biome and showing you how to build and landscape in that biome. I have already pre-prepared a plains biome, as you can tell, by flattening out the area and filling in the holes. Obviously I haven't focused on that area, so just cut away for a second, but yeah, this is kind of the plot we're going to be focusing on. Unfortunately, the replay mod has not been added yet. So for now, the videos will be shot in first person. I'm sorry for that. I wish I had the replay mod, people. I wish I had the replay mod, but I'm doing the best I can. So yeah, first of all, again with terraining and generally kind of terraforming the area, plains biomes are really easy to terraform, people. Even in creative, if you just give yourself an efficiency of 5 times before going to survival. I know it seems a bit weird, but trust me, you can get rid of small little patches of dirt really easily. Again, I haven't really focused on terraforming these areas, but you kind of want to get, I can kind of show you right now what you just want to be doing, really, pretty much, is you just want to have these lovely sloping hills. You don't want too much, this is a good example of what you don't want here, okay? So you kind of want these to slope out a little bit more, you know, make sure they're a bit more rolling. So annoying. So yeah, if you just like, it's simple as just like doing this, it's just, it makes a world of difference, people. It makes the world of difference. Yeah, just by simply doing that, and you know, just following that along here. I'm talking through the whole thing, just I'm showing you an example here, but like just doing this is just makes the landscape look a lot nicer. If you've got this like kind of more rolling hill, obviously I haven't done the best job I possibly can on it, but you just get an idea of these kind of areas. You just want to like slope them around. But yeah, moving on, grass is annoying, so it's as simple as getting rid of grass. You can keep the grass if you want to, but yeah, I'm going to keep the grass, but I'm just going to show you how the easiest way of getting rid of it. If you are not familiar with the technique, you just get a bottle of water. Well, I mean, pull a bottle of water if you want to, a bucket of water, and just get rid of it like that. So yeah, that's probably the quickest way of doing it, but I think first I'm going to go show you the block palette. Alright, so I'll meet you back and I'll show you the block palette. Palette for plains is super simple. You want your main rustic Minecraft blocks, which is your woods and your stones. You want mainly oak, since it is on the plains. I wouldn't recommend using any other woods. You kind of just want to stick with the oak, and it's what's readily available. If you see what I mean, the other woods are kind of darker, other than birch, but then birch doesn't work well with much, to be honest, and acacia, which is a greyish, and you don't really want grey in this kind of plains area. You want the greys from the stones. So for the stones, you want your main 3 kind of greyish Minecraft blocks, which is your stones, your stone, your cobblestone, and your andesite. I managed to make the cobble that you don't really want it to be in much of a pattern, but there you go. I recommend steering away from stone, kind of because it's not really good for actually building houses. It's good for landscaping, but it's not good for building houses, mainly because it's not as like dark and look worn and stuff like that. But yeah, enough talking about the palette. The actual building, you want plains biomes. I'd recommend going for kind of a square shape to start off with. You want your wood in your corners. I'd always use odd numbers, but you can use even numbers. But for the first building, I think we're just going to go with an odd number like usual. let's go for a 5 wide, I'd say. So if you space them out 5 wide, and we want to make this a rectangle, so we'll make this one 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Right, so that should have a middle as well. Should have 3 on each side here, 2 on each side here. There we go. Right. Nice looking rectangle, and then we do that on the other side. Okay, so that's your kind of your main thing here. So yeah, if we fly up, we should be able to see that kind of shape. It's just a nice square pattern. And there you want to add the wood, and obviously the oak wood, and then preferably adding your stones as well. Again, depth is very important here. I'd recommend using the stone kind of like a chimney area, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, I'm currently not in 1.14, but once that comes out, we will have the availability of andesite slabs, which will make my life a lot easier. But for now, you can use some simple kind of slabs like that, just some normal standard cobble ones. And again, you want to get this depth in for the houses. If you don't have the depth in with houses, that pretty much applies for every house that you build in Minecraft. If you don't have depth in it, it's not a good house. It's going to look boxy, it's going to look rubbish, but you want to kind of build up these walls. We'll detail them in a second, but you want to kind of build them up. I'd say for a normal house, I'd recommend 5 blocks. So that's 4, and then here's 5. 5 is kind of like a nice number. It's not too high, and it isn't even an odd number, which helps, again, as I said, with centering and all that. But yeah, we won't go into centering yet. First of all, you got your kind of box shape. Again, this looks ugly right now. Trust me, this is all a work in progress. And then you want to build up these things here, and we can kind of work on the roof and the details and all that stuff with the roof, as I did say, to steer away from other woods. But for the roof, I do definitely recommend going for a different colour. So I've gone for spruce here, mainly because it's my favourite wood block, but also because it is the best contrasting block with oak, in my eyes at least. So yeah, you want to build it up like that, and then you've got this nice kind of roof shape. This is the kind of roof shape you want to go for in plains biomes. It's kind of like the standard kind of barn shaped roof. Probably move this out an extra block as well, like that. I don't know, actually, doesn't look too good. And then you want to, I think we'll worry about that in a second. I think first of all we're going to just build out this roof along here and connect it all up, and it'll look really nice. Now you've kind of worked on the roof a bit, you've got these nice little shapes here. What I'd recommend doing is these little indents in here. It's not, oh, that's out of place, there we go. So you kind of have these blocks here. It's probably a good idea to do that. Just so it's centered like it's meant to be. Again, on the same side, probably meant to change that as well. There we go, looking a lot better. Also, as well with the front, I've added this kind of little detail. It's pretty simple with adding this detail. I'll just show you again. I put a slab here, and then I put a double slab there. So you've kind of got this like little extra outfit here. You could put it's like kind of a thing there, but then it kind of makes it look a bit too Viking-like, if you think so. Again, that's why I'm probably going to get rid of this, actually, now think about it. It does make it look like Viking-y. I think I'm going to work on the outside walls and see if we can try to get the shape a little bit better and do some indents. Intending is pretty simple. All you want to do is put some slabs, not slabs, stairs. You just want to put them in nice little round places, preferably not around the walls, because you kind of get this effect where it makes the thing look a bit holy, and you don't want that. I'd recommend just putting it around the place. I can probably tell as well, I have got rid of the chimney. I'll put that back later at a later date. Right now, I just want to work on these. Again, you don't want to put them like kind of in the same place together, and I've just gone against what I've just said. Here is you don't want to put them in like a line, because it would make them look a little bit less, in a way, what do you call them? Like real, not real. Ooh, that's not good. You want to kind of make sure there's no gaps behind there. There we go. So you want to make sure they're random, is what I meant to try and say. There is, so they don't look like they're meant to be there. Also, it'd be nice if you can try and get it so it's like, so you can kind of get the things in the same place. It's quite hard to do, just so you can, oh right, okay, maybe if I do that, there we go. That's what you want. You kind of want these little things as well. It does make the house a little bit more worn. Again, I think the roof definitely needs some work, and we'll work on that now as well. So yeah, I'm going to go work on the outside walls and the kind of like this again, and I'll meet you back when that's done. Next step to this is probably what I'd recommend, is making a blacksmith area. This is pretty simple in doing. I'd say just if you get some like nice stone slabs, not stone slabs, cobblestone slabs, there we go. And if you write them around here, oh, that's a bit annoying there. If you move it down 1 block, that should hopefully there we go, that's much better. And then you want to get it, I'd say put it on a 2 block thing. So if you get like this, that's 2 blocks. We can talk about kind of adding some other things here, but again, it's quite hard when we have kind of like limited amount of slab stuff. I'd recommend maybe on the last one, kind of maybe doing this. Wait, there we go. So it's kind of out a little bit. Obviously, if you need some work, if you get what I mean, there we go. Or like just doing something like that. There we go. So it's kind of out a little bit. Then maybe doing something like that. Go. Yeah, you know, just like moving it around a bit. You want to get your shape right. It's very important when you're doing this. So yeah, and then in here we can obviously make our little blacksmith, which I'll go work on that now, and I can meet you back and give you some tips on how to make a blacksmith and make it seem a lot more alive. Welcome back. I've now designed the black. We've got some coal lying on the ground. I've managed to hide some lighting as well underneath as well, which is definitely something you really want to look for in Minecraft, is hiding your light sources. But we'll go into that in a second. But that's my coal pile. Here we've got this little like kind of forge area. Probably a good idea to add an anvil as well. It just makes everything look a lot better. There we go. As well, we're not obviously not done with decorations. We'll go on to decorations later. We want to kind of get the core outside of the building in this episode, and we can move on to other stuff in the next one. But as you can tell, we've got this kind of base plate for the door. I'm not 100% sold on this yet. It could still do with some work, but again, I don't want it to be too kind of posh or like over the top. I mean, I could easily go for something that's crazy and ridiculous, like I don't know, like this or like something like that, and it would look nice, but it just doesn't fit the kind of rustic feel of like the build and stuff like that. You can get what I mean. Obviously, it's really easy to do those, but I can go into making designs for stairs and slabs later on. But definitely, it's quite nice. It's like a starter home. Obviously, we don't have much room for the interior, but generally speaking, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I think I'm going to move on to next episode. We are going to be working on finishing off this building, which includes the interior, the exterior, design around, and then we can start working on some other stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed part 1, and I'll meet you back in part 2.